Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to 360DigiTMG YouTube channel. And you people know that as like every week, we have presentation, project presentation this week also. And this week, we again came with a high-level recommendation engine based on the customer preferences. So we have our team ready. Our interns team from InnoDatatics are pretty much ready to give the brief explanation about our project. And I'm handing over to Ms. Kusuma. Yeah, here we go.
So a very good evening to all. I'm Naga Kusuma, and I would like to thank you all for joining this presentation. So today we are going to present the personalized food recommendation for the customers for a multi-cuisine restaurant. Next slide, please. So yeah, I would like to introduce our mentors, Sharath and Raghu, who have supported very well for this project. And thank you, Sharath and Raghu, for this wonderful opportunity. Next slide, please. So here are our team members, Srinath, myself, Nasneen, Sushat, Gaurav, Abhay, Venkata Krishna, Satish. Divya Suma, Surya Narayana, Shiba, Sanjeeva, Madhuri, Harshit. So these are our team who have worked hard tirelessly to complete the project successfully on time. And I would thank every team member for this hard work which we have put on to complete the project. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So yeah, the overall content of the project would cover the following contents, like what is the food recommendation engine, project goals like objectives and constraints of the project, CRISP-ML methodologies, technical stack, project architecture, data collections, exploratory data analysis, and data visualization, model building, output insights, conclusion, and finally the deployment. Those are the contents which we have included in this presentation, and that is the overall approach how we have finished the project. Next slide, please. So here we go, exactly like what the food recommendation is all about. Like for example, a customer visits a multi-cuisine restaurant multiple times and order his favorite food. The restaurateur wants to recommend personalized food for the customer based on his own interests to make the customer satisfied and happy. That is how we have designed this one. Like we'll recommend the customer based on his preference, and like we'll suggest him, like we'll make him happy based on his previous orders. We'll recommend him the food. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So here are our project goals, like objectives and constraints of the project. So now we'll understand the restaurateur wants a quick service, automation of food orders, and still a customer experience. So let's understand the business objectives and constraints here. So like if we understand the business objectives and constraints, this will help us to move in the right direction. So basically the primary objective of the project is recommending personalized food to the customer based on his interest. So now coming to the constraint. The constraint here is to minimize the time customer spends on searching the food. Like how it is like if he keeps on he'll not waste his time anymore by searching his favorite food. It will automatically recommend the food which he want to intake based on his previous orderings and all, basing on all those constraints. So yeah, so the CRISP ML methodology will be explained by Madhuri. So Madhuri, could you please take it over?
Yeah, thank you, Kusuma, for providing brief introduction of our project. Like, I would like to take it further to explain about CRISP-ML methodology. Can you please move to next slide, please? Yeah, this is about CRISP-ML methodology, which means cross-industry standard process for machine learning methodology. So this CRISP-ML provides a uniform framework for planning, managing, and executing a project throughout. So it has 7 stages. So the first stage is business objective. This means like a process to understand the business objective and constraint. And the goal of this stage is to recommend a personalized food to the customer to maximize his satisfaction and to save his time in searching the food. So this is our goal of a project. And the second stage is data understanding. It involves identification, collection, and analyzing the data, which helps to accomplish the project. In this phase, we understand about what kind of data we are dealing with and what kind of data is required for our model building. Here, we have dealt with features like customer user ID, order type, order, budget, to draw business insights from the data and to build a model for providing personalized recommendations for the customers. And the third stage is data preparation. We can now prepare data by using data cleaning techniques like handling duplicates, missing values, outlier treatment, and performing ED analysis so that our data could be used for model building. And the fourth stage is model building. This phase involves like model technique selection and model training and hyperparameter tuning. In this project, we have used ALS recommender system, which means alternative least square or matrix factorization for providing recommendations to the customer. And the stage fifth is evaluation. During this step, you will assess the degree to which the model met your business requirement. For example, if it has not met our requirement, we will again make some changes in our model to meet our business requirement. And again, this process will go on until it reaches the final objective. And the stage 6 is deployment. This is the most important phase as we will deploy our model to the customer. And in this stage, you will take your evaluation results and determine a strategy for this deployment. And deployment is absolutely crucial for the success of our project. And the 7th stage is monitoring and maintenance. Like monitoring is a process to be aware about what are the changes and parameters. But maintenance is a process to stay them in a certain amount. Like now I would like it like now I will hand it over to Harshit and he will explain about project architecture and data collection. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madhuri, for that. So can we move to the next slide, please? So guys, my name is Harshit Goel and I'm here to present you about the project architecture. So as we can see that my friend Madhuri, my colleague Madhuri have already told about the CRISP ML technology. Now I'll tell you about the project architecture in which we are firstly getting the project objective. What you have learned in the previous slides, we are gathering all the project objectives and then we are collecting the data. We are collecting the data from the primary source, majorly from the Google source and Google Forms and the online researches. And after collecting all of the data from our primary sources, we are inputting them via into a MySQL server and storing all of the data into MySQL server. And after then we are processing our data. We are doing some manipulation on our data and doing visualization stuff. And we are making charts, we are making plots, we are making bars and seeing what all the insights we can draw through the data. Like we are using SuiteWiz in this, we are using Tableau tool, we are using Seaborn. And after that, the visualization part, we are coming up to the modeling part on which way on which the modeling we are doing on Spark, which is the library of Python, and we are majorly using the unsupervised learning for our food recommendation system. ALS method. We are using ALS method, alternating least square method. And after that, we are evaluating our model and deploying our model to on the Streamlit. And when we have done the Streamlit model, we can deploy the model to our client servers, and we can monitor the model deployment part. Yes, I think we can move to the next slide, please. So let me tell you about some things about the technical stacks in which we are using many tools like Google Colab, Jupyter Notebook, Tableau, as I have told you earlier, MySQL, Python, and Streamlit for the deployment part. As you know, Google Colab is like one of the most powerful tools for learning, and which is like quickly developing machine learning models in Python. It is based on the Jupyter Notebook, and it is like very supportive and collaborative model development. Moving towards the Tableau part, it is like a tool for the visualization purposes. We can easily visualize all of our data on Tableau in a very simplistic and very easy manner. So then we can move towards the Python. Yes, Python is also like a very powerful tool for the data manipulation part and for handling the data and the data modeling part. And we have also used the SQL Alchemy. It is a library that facilitates the communication between the programs and the database. Actually, it is now connecting all of our program to the database so that they can fetch the data from our databases. We are using Spark, as I've told you before. Spark is like an interface in the Apache Spark in the Python, and Streamlit we are using for the deployment of our model. Next slide, please. So coming on to the data collection part, when we are collecting the data, like I've told you before, we have collected the data from majorly from the primary sources. So we are collecting data through surveys methods. Data is collection of the previous user behavior, like we are collecting from what kind of place they are ordering the food, from which place they have ordered the food, what is the cuisine, was it like American, was it like Chinese, was it like Indian, what kind of cuisine they are ordering, and in what budget the food has been ordered. And moving on to the survey part. Survey is like collecting of the data by spreading the surveys on social media platform. We have just uh, floated the survey from on various social media platforms, and the data was collected from the Google survey for the recommendation system. And in this project, we have also like accepting, and we are also like collecting what kind of payment methods do the customer is using, so we can like easily recommend what kind of place do the customer wants, and if he has some cash, or is he doing payment from the card methods, or what kind of payment method is he using. And we are just like combining all of the data together, and it's like and after that we are like just predicting the variables which is like most suitable for our customer, what kind of customer what kind of food they want, what kind of cuisine they want, or what kind of restaurant they want. Our program is simply recommending it. Now I would like to call Abhay for the next slide. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I am Divyasuma. I would like to tell how we have done our data visualization in our project. First of all, I'll talk about what is meant by data visualization. Data visualization is nothing but graphical representation of the data. We done our data visualization in Tableau, and also we use the Python library Seaborn and Matplotlib. The features for the data are user ID, order place ID, order type rating, food rating, service rating, user payment, and budget. In this data, we visualized on budget, user payment, food rating, and service rating. Next slide. So the first one we visualized on the budget, and it's for recommending the food. In this budget, we are observing 3 observations. They are high budget, medium budget, and low budget. The low budget has more percentage because most of the customers prefers the low budget for ordering the food, and the percentage of low budget is 55%. And some of the customers choose medium budget for ordering the food, and the percentage of medium budget is 41%, and few of the customers choose the high budget for ordering the food, and the percentage of high budget is 3%. Next slide. And the second one is user payment. Mostly customers prefer the cash for the payment rather than cards, and few of the customer uses cards. So for user payment, we observe 4 payments from the customers. They are cash, MasterCard, Visa, debit cards. Mostly the customers prefers the cash, and the cash percent is more comparing to the cards, and the percent of cash is 83%. And the next, MasterCard. The percentage of the MasterCard for the payment is 5%, and the next is Visa. And the percentage of the Visa is 7%, and the last one is bank debit cards for customer. It prefers less comparing to the cash, so that's why the card has more percent, and the percentage for the bank debit card is 4%. Next slide. The third one is food rating. We took this rating from the customer review on the food. Basically, we represent the food rating from 0 to 2. 0 stands for low food rating, and 1 stands for average food rating, and the 2 stands for best food rating. And the rating for the food is low because it has the percentage is 51%, and the average percent for the food rating is 20%. And the best rating for the food percentage is 19%. Most of the customer review low food rating because the customer has seen the quality of the food and they didn't satisfy with their requirements. So that's why the customer gave low percentage to the food. Next slide. And the last one is service rating. Most of the customers particularly sees the food and the service of the restaurant should be good, and based on that, we give the reviews and rating on the restaurant. Here the customers gave a rating for the service provided by the restaurant. In the service rating, we observe same like the food rating represented from 0 to 2. 0 represents the low rating for the service, 1 represents the average rating for the service, 2 represents the best rating for the service. The percentage for the low rating service provides by the restaurant to the customer is 53%, and the average rating service provided by the restaurant to the customer is 19%. And the last one, the percentage of the best rating provided by the restaurant to the customer is about 28%. In the service rating, the bad service has got more percentage because the restaurant does not provide the better service to the customer. So the low percentage is more comparing to the others. And the next model will be explained by Abhay.
Thank you, Divya. Hello, everyone. This is Abhay, and I will be taking up the model building. So we have built the model in Python integrated with PySpark. Next slide, please. Yes. So mainly we are using PySpark because it is well supported and a great choice for most of the organization in the market. And PySpark has ability to store the data in memory and rapidly run repeated queries, which makes it a better choice for training. So the data we have used is a combination of explicit and implicit data, where explicit data is directly given by customer in the form of feedback like service ratings and food ratings. On the other side, there is implicit data, which is not directly given by the customer, but is extracted by observing the user behavior. In the model, we used a split of 8:2, which is 80% of the data is used for training and 20% is used for testing. And the main algorithm which we have used to build the model is ALS, which is alternating least square. The algorithm mainly uses matrix factorization method. This method finds this inactive similarity between the user and the item by mathematically reducing the dimensionality of the original matrix, which highlights the user behavior. So while training the data, we got 16 best models, 16 best models were generated, out of which the best model was giving the accuracy of 76%. So in conclusion, the system will be recommending the recommendations based on user preferences and past eating habits. It will reduce the time taken by the customer to order by giving them a proper recommendation. It will be recommending based on the rating given by the similar user, and it might possibly increase the positive feedback for the restaurant, and it will provide better user experience through which a customer is more likely to stay loyal to the service. And the following deployment part will be explained by Gaurav. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Abhay. Yeah, hi, this is Gaurav. I will be presenting the model deployment part. We are in model deployment. Sinath, yeah. In model deployment, we are using the Streamlit for deployment. Streamlit being an open source Python library makes it easy to create and share custom web page and application. Okay. And for Streamlit, no front-end programming experience required, and it is easy to deploy. Okay. So next slide, please. This is the output screen and for video. Synapse, just play the video. Okay. So in this video, we can see the algorithm recommending the recipe on user personal choice. Okay. By changing the user recommendation or also change. Okay. Which so algorithm is recommending the personalization. Okay. For future scope. Next slide, please, Sinath. Yeah. After this project, the future scope is, we can change the in future nutrition values can be added to the system, which can provide the healthy food based on the recommendation based on the previous choice. Also, recommendation can be made the keeping user health into consideration by not providing food that might negatively impact on the user. Okay. Also, we can modify in the serving size can be recommended based on the time and user also has a complete his meal. Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone for being part of the project. If you have any query, you can ask in chat box. Thanks everyone. Okay, shall I close the live? Yes, you can close that.